Hello, good morning. It's April 6, 2026, and today we are harvesting kale. We've been away for 5 days. We went on vacation, so there's lots of things to do in the garden. We'll start today by harvesting this kale, which is one of the easiest and most rewarding plants in the garden. The best thing about kale, it keeps giving. You don't harvest everything at once, just take what you need. When harvesting the kale, we always start from the bottom. We pick the older outer leaves first. This allows the center to keep growing. For the kale that we harvested this morning, we will pair it with ground beef, and we will be harvesting onion in the garden to add flavor on the dish that we will be cooking tonight. Simple, fresh, and full of flavor. April 7, 2026. For today's plan, we will be harvesting the garlic from this 27-gallon container. And we will be planting corbachi peppers. These are store-bought garlics which I planted here in the container. They're not quite ready yet, although they develop some bulbs. The problem is our corbachi peppers are already root-bounded. First, we'll amend the soil with fresh compost. These are compost that I got from our Bokashi soil factory. Again, today we are planting corbachi peppers in this 27-gallon container. Corbachi pepper is one of the sweetest and most productive peppers you can grow. I will be planting 4 peppers in this 27-gallon container. Of course, we'll be adding some organic fertilizer, and we will also be adding some worm casting. Corbachi peppers comes from Turkey, and it's known for its long, thin shape and mild, sweet flavor. After transplanting, we water it well. This helps reduce transplant shock and keeps roots happy. As for the garlic that we harvested, we will just hang it here outside for it to cure. We will also be using this in the kitchen, so we will be getting as we need. April 9, 2026. I noticed that the garden was invaded by gopher. This was in the other side of the garden. I tried drowning them with water, but it's not effective, so I'm trying to gas them. I know it may sound violent, but I don't have any option. They ate few of our tomatoes as well as the eggplant. So if this will not work, I'm gonna resort to trapping because I experienced this one before and it's not funny. It's really annoying that all your hard work in just one night gone. Stem chewed by gopher, new transplanted seedlings being pulled out underground. It's not funny. I will be also using some ultrasonic devices. Hopefully it will repel the gophers away. Get the big ones, okay? You have to cut it. Get a snip. You have to snip it. April 10, 2026, and we have a lot of things to do today. We are starting with transplanting these dahlias from smaller pot to slightly larger pot. These dahlias have outgrown their pots, so today we're giving them a little more space to grow. You can tell it's time to transplant when the roots start filling the pot or growth slows down. I am using rich, well-draining soil and adding a bit of compost for extra nutrients. After transplanting, I'll give them a good soak of water to help prevent transplant shock. These onions are Texas grano, early girl Texas grano. We are looking for onions that are ready to be harvested and to be cured so that we'll have more room or more space for our seedlings to get planted at. In checking these onions, we check if the neck are already soft. That means they are ready. They can be cured and hopefully it will store for a longer period of time. These onions were sowed July last year and was transplanted in the garden by October of last year. These are also early girl Texas grano. They're not quite ready yet, but the problem, we have a lot of onions that are bolting. That means they're sending up a flower instead of growing bigger bulbs. When you see this tall center stalk, that's the sign your onion has started to bolt. This usually happens because of stress, changes in temperature, inconsistent watering, or the plant thinking its life cycle is ending. Once it starts, the plant puts its energy into flower, not the bulb. So we'll harvest it right away, but we're leaving this one onion to flower and it will produce some seeds to be sown for the next season. But for the others that bolted, the bulb won't get or won't grow much bigger after this. You can also cut the flower, but it won't fully reverse the process. But the good news, it's still edible. We'll just use it soon because it won't store for a longer period of time. I noticed when I was harvesting the onion that the soil is dry. Before we went on vacation, I set the irrigation to every other day, so I'm not surprised that the soil is dry because there has been some fluctuations in the temperature for the past days. It has been really warm and then cold, and then most of the days are warm. This part of the garden also needs some watering. Most plants here are tomatoes, and I don't want them to get stressed. In the garden, we practice organic gardening. We do our best, we help the environment, we compost food scraps. We are using two composting in our garden. We are using the hot composting and then the anaerobic composting, which is this bokashi composting method. We use food scraps, we sprinkled some bokashi bran, and after a few days, it will provide us with compost tea. Once these food scraps are fermented, we put it in our bokashi soil factory. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks before these food scraps are fully fermented, meaning white molds have developed on top. One benefit of using the bokashi compost method is the compost tea. We collect compost tea every 3 to 4 days and we use it to water our plants. Most of the fruits that we put in our bokashi composter are fruits: banana peelings, apple peelings, oranges, which are high in potassium, which is very beneficial to our fruit-bearing vegetables, such as the tomatoes, the gourd, cantaloupes, the squash, and also the potatoes. It's free fertilizer, nutrient rich, it's organic. As for the onions that we harvested, we'll just cut the ones that were bolted, clean it up, and store it in the fridge. I know a lot of you is asking, onions are really cheap, why plant? I mean, you can buy a whole bag at the store for just a few dollars. So why do we even grow them? It's not about saving money, it's something deeper. When you grow onions, you're growing patience. They take months and most of the work happens underground. You learn consistency, watering, waiting, trusting the process. And then one day, you pull it from the soil. And suddenly, it's not just an onion anymore. This one came from a shelf, but this one came from your hands. It tastes different, not just because it's fresh, but because you grew it. Some things aren't about the price, they're about the experience. As for the onion leaves, we'll just throw it in our hot composter. We are using this tumbler composter. Final chore of the day is transplanting these sweet potatoes. As you can see, they are already grown and has lots of good roots. If you remember, we harvested onions a while ago in this area, creating a space for these sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes are store-bought. We just left it in the counter. It started producing some sprout and we planted it in the pot. And today, it's time to give them a new room to grow, a new environment, and in a few weeks, these sweet potatoes will start to spread and cover the garden with lush green leaves. This will serve as cover crops while creating magic underground. April 12, 2026. It's time to fix this trellis. I'm gonna be putting a bar that will go across these two T-posts so that I can put some trellis, some strings on these tomatoes, and later on for the cantaloupe to climb. Another chore for today is we will be transplanting the Hill's Jumbo Cantaloupe. Same process, create a big hole, put some fresh compost and organic fertilizer as well as worm casting. These Hill's Jumbo Cantaloupe are one of the sweetest and juiciest melons you can plant in your garden. This variety is known for its large size and rich sweet flavor. We are always planting cantaloupe in the garden because we love eating fresh, crunchy, sweet cantaloupe. No matter how busy work gets, I still find time to garden. It is where I find my peace. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I hope you have a wonderful day.